Good evening, everyone. We are very happy to see you from all the parts of the world. What are you doing here? Trying to get into consulting by any chance? So next hour and a half, we are going to help you with that. And our experienced coaches, Gaurav and Andre Homulenko, will help you to get the job done and achieve your dream. So our today's webinar is about BCG's second round case interview simulation. I hope you will enjoy it. Let's get to our agenda. And before we do that, I would like to ask you a question. We all know that consulting requires a lot of skills. Could you please define what is leadership skill for you? Feel free to write your thoughts and opinion in the chat box, and be sure that we will get to that as soon as possible and provide you with the answers. So my first question for you is, what is leadership for you? Can we have your answers? Yeah, I already see some of them, diversity and inclusion. While you're writing them, André, would you please provide us with this information? How would you define leadership? And is it crucial in consulting?
Well, of course, leadership is not important at all, I would say. It's probably one of the most frequently asked questions in consulting, because it's all about people's leadership. It's all about people who create impact, who can lead the followers and change their organizations and create an impact. It's all about educating the future leaders of tomorrow. And consulting as a field provides you a good background in order to develop your leadership skills, so that I think it's even one of the slogan of our today's company, BCG, that BCG is building global leaders of tomorrow. That's how leadership really important in practice.
Thank you for absolutely enlightening answer, Andre. We can see a lot of answers from our today's guests. Being initiative and supporting leadership is being able to rely on people. Very, very supporting and very inspiring. So whatever your answer is, I hope it will help you. Our today's webinar will help you to get to the next level and improve any skill you would like. On that note, let's get to our today's agenda. We have started with some introduction and format and rules. And soon I will give word to André so he can deliver the company's mission and tell you why we are here and how can we help you with your career advancing. Then I would like to give word to our candidates so they can share their experience. As I have said already, our today's topic is BCG. So this is one of the world's most human-oriented companies in consulting. And our experienced coach, Gaurav, would like to share some information about it. Then we will come to the bulk of our webinar and we will solve the case. And this will be very exclusive and educating process, the reason why we're here for. And at the end, coming to the end of our webinar, you will be provided with all the necessary feedback. You will have the opportunity to ask your questions and get answered anytime you want. And you can also start doing that right now in the chat box. And stay tuned because at the end, I would provide you with extra information about some bonus materials that you will definitely get from us after this webinar. Okay, and now let's skip to the format and rules. I will just have to remind you that each of the first parts of our webinar will take 15 minutes, but the most important part, we will dedicate half an hour to discuss the most important questions and solve the case. And at the very end, during 10 minutes, you will get the all information you need to get in touch with us on time and get informed accurately. I also have to remind you quickly that you have to mute and turn off your video while case solving process so everyone can feel comfortable and confident. Again, don't forget, you just have an opportunity to ask any questions in the chat, no matter if it's professional or informative. Our clients, our managers will be very happy to help you with any answers. And I'm coming to the part where I would like to introduce myself. My name is Maria. I'm a client manager in Consulting Masters, and our today's candidate is Michel Kalai. Michel, would you like to tell us a little bit more about your background? We are looking forward to know you.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the webinar. So my name is Michel Kalai. I'm an experienced professional with over 16 years of business experience. I am applying for the engagement management position in consulting or management consulting position. I'm actually waiting for my feedback for my first round interview with McKinsey Paris office. And it's been a very quick learning curve. For the last 45 days, I've been prepared by André and Gaurav very meticulously. It's a lot about your own dedication also. And really doing the coaching with the guys is completely different than doing it by yourself. You really need to practice your skills in terms of communication, your skills in terms of structuring. And this can really be done most efficiently only by the support of people who've been there, who knows about the subject at hand, and also about the community. The community within this program is very helpful, and everybody is helping each other. So it's definitely a great experience. So thank you. That would be my notes for that.
Thank you, Michel. Thank you for experience, and thank you for sharing your opinion. On that note, I would like to give the word to André. Could you please continue?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. But if I'm not mistaken, now it's the term of Gaurav.
Okay, would you mind start?
All right. No, sorry. I think you are right. So, ladies and gentlemen, very warm welcome from my side also to our webinar tonight. We are very committed to deliver you the best results, and this is the learning platform for you. So what is expected for you today? We will tell you a little bit more about the process in BCG, and we will also tell you a little bit more about how to prepare for the case consulting interview. And today we're going to simulate the second interview round with BCG. So please be more interactive. Use the option to write your questions into the chat, or to provide also feedback to the candidates so that we can learn from each other and share our opinions with you. We dedicate these 2 hours to create an impact for you in order to help you to become more prepared for your upcoming interviews, and also to help you to secure those interviews. So let me maybe also briefly tell about myself, especially to those who are new to our webinars. My name is Andre Homulenko, and together with Gaurav, my business partner, and the entire team of Consulting Masters, we help students, MBAs, and young professionals to get top jobs offers from the best consulting firms worldwide. This is mainly due to 2 reasons. First of all, I've spent on my own more than 6 years in consulting, have been working for Roland Berger in 3 different regions. I've started my career, I'm born Ukrainian. I started my career in Kiev. Then I got a scholarship from the German government and went for studies over there, and continued my full-time position in Germany and Central Europe. And afterwards, I also spent a couple of years in the Middle East in Dubai office. So in fact, I have accomplished more than 30 projects in more than 10 countries all around the world. And I also have been progressing very fast in my career, from an intern up to senior project manager in just 6 years. This is considered to be extremely fast development, because usually people take almost twice as much to do the same career track. So I want to share all my experience and all my expertise together with you in this webinar to help you to make the necessary step towards consulting. And secondly, together with Gaurav, we combine more than 12 years of experience. And what is even more important, we have already helped more than 600 people to get top job offers from all major companies in consulting worldwide. And if we jump on the next page, just maybe to give you a fresh example. So last month in March, 7 our clients have actually started working with McKinsey, Bain, Oliver Wyman and Roland Berger in different offices across the world, starting from McKinsey London up to Oliver Wyman Dubai, covering different geographies, Europe, Middle East and Southeastern Asia. And most of our mentees have received the job offers starting from 50K British pounds up to 135K US dollars in different regions. This is kind of a value which we are delivering to our clients. And therefore, we want to share all our expertise and our knowledge in this brief webinar to help you make the right step into consulting. Yeah, so I already see that there are a couple of questions here from Ahlam Belgasem. Michel, I think there is a question addressed to you. So Ahlam is writing, thank you, Michel, for sharing your journey. I would like to ask you, why did you choose the Paris office?
Okay, thank you so much for this question. So basically, I'm French. That's the first thing. That's the first reason. Secondly, it's the country of France has the biggest amount of sectors covered. There is no special focus on one of the sectors defined. So the 22 verticals are well represented in the office of Paris. So that is what one of the big factors that are attracting me to that office. So basically, the first reason is because I'm French, and the second reason is because of the nature of the large scope of the subjects provided at this location.
All right, thank you, Michel. This was already consultant-friendly explanation of French office due to 2 reasons, namely reason 1 and reason 2.
Exactly.
Yeah, so well done, well practiced. All right, there is another question from Utkarsh Patak. I hope that I pronounced your name correctly. How did you do that? Hello, guys. What opportunities are available for undergraduate fresher at BCG? Utkarsh, how did you do that? What exactly do you mean?
Like you said that you have raised your salary from, 2.5x in just 6 years. You went from intern to senior project manager. So how did you do that?
Well, a brief answer is just 6 years of working hard and smart. I basically started with my salary, I think 2013, I accepted an offer which was 60,000 euros, which was way above what my peers in Germany were earning at that time. And when I was leaving the company, I accepted another offer for 150,000 Swiss francs when I moved to Switzerland. So this was my exit option. I would be happy to tell you a little bit more about my personal experience in an individual call, so that we can also give others the opportunity to raise their questions. All right, cool. Then about them, any further questions? Nikhil Deokata, how can I start as an intern in management consulting? I currently study masters in FHM Berlin. What is FHM? Is it Fachhochschule, or was it what is it staying for? Well, Fachhochschule, it means that it's a university of applied science, which means that you basically need the university degree in order to enter into consulting. Yeah. So Nikhil, I would strongly recommend you to change your education towards the university if you want to get into consulting. All right. Then next question is, what the skills need for a fresher to start the journey? Well, you need your communicational skills. Number one, you need problem solving skills. Number two, and thirdly, you would need analytical skills. This is required for the fresher. And whenever you want to move from the consultant or analyst position to a senior consultant or project manager position, you would require leadership skills in addition. That's why leadership is so important in consulting. All right, cool. Then there was a question from Rohan Verma. What does consulting firm look for in a CV? And is it possible to review my CV? I recently graduated with a degree in economics and management and searching for consulting firms to apply for. So Rohan, to answer your questions, basically consulting firms look for very good grades. Number one, so that you need to show your excellent academic performance in being part of, for example, top 1, top 10, or top 20% of the student cohort. They also look for relevant experience in business or economics or engineering or IT, so that you can show your skills already. And yeah, your CV could be also reviewed. Feel free to have a call with one of our client managers. And now I think Alina will post a few links how you can book directly a call with member of our team to basically start the process further, so that we can provide you and advise you on specifically on your situation. All right, cool. Then next question is from Hitesh Mittal. How strict is the local EU language criteria? Hitesh, it very much depends on the country and very much depends on your qualification. So when I came to, for just my example, when I came to Germany, my German was not perfect. My German was B1. And still, nevertheless, I made it through a very tough competition with Germans. Also, I cracked the cases both in German as well as in English during the very huge and very long assessment day, which took multiple interview rounds all in once. So I started at 8:30 in the morning and ended up at 19 o'clock getting for the final call with the partner the next week. So in my case, German language was not a prerequisite, but it's of course a huge benefit if you know the local language. And otherwise, in European Union, especially in France, you definitely need to know local language, but the requirements basically vary from country to country. Hope this answers your question. All right, then the next question is from Samar El Hajj. I believe it's better to keep the questions till the end. Yeah, it's a very wise advice. I can only agree. During the presentation, the information will get clear to many of us just to be able to proceed with the presentation. Yeah, thank you, Summer. I will answer the remaining questions and then continue with the presentation. Yeah, Nikhil Deokata, I have already did bachelor's in mechanical engineering in India and currently studying at in FHM. So Nikhil, let's basically speak after the webinar. Feel free to book one of the calls with our team members, especially as Lina Karabaza has already placed a couple of links to book the time slots with her so that you can discuss this situation. All right, Then the question, I would probably take one more question from Oliver El Houri, and then proceed with the rest of presentation. Otherwise, sorry guys, I would not be able to cover all of your questions. So Oliver is writing, I just graduated with a Master in Science in Petroleum Engineering from Politecnico di Torino, Italy, with various experience related to management and business. How can a candidate like mine get accepted to strategy management consulting interviews without an internal referral, or is it only guaranteed through referrals? The easy answer to you, Oliver, is yes, it's only guaranteed through referrals. This is my strong recommendation to you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I will stop now for here and turn back to the presentation. All the rest of the questions I would be happy to handle at the end of the webinar during our Q&A session. Okay, so what I actually wanted to present to you on the previous page is the entire process, how our company can help you to get to your offers. What we are exactly doing with Michel and all our other VIP clients who are present here in the room. So we follow a very structured process together with you in order to bring you to your future offers. We go step by step, hand in hand with you together through these 7 steps. So first of all, we set up the right objectives for you, and we create an application strategy, which is individually tailored to your specific situation and your needs. So we take up the list of companies, we see what are the positions, what are the regions, and what kind of networking do you have from your side, from the university maybe, or what kind of network do we have from our side? Because as you can imagine, after 12 years spent in consulting, we have so many friends, former colleagues, as well as more than 600 mentees who are already working in consulting in all major firms worldwide, who can help you to provide you with a referral and help you to pass through the interview screening in order to secure you the interview call. Secondly, we of course need to have a look into your CV and cover letter in order to polish your profile to make it easily screenable for recruiters. Thirdly, as I already mentioned, networking is really special discipline here, so that we can fully utilize your network plus our network. We work together hand in hand in order to help you to secure your interview invites. Then, in parallel to that, we of course start very much intense preparation with you. And this we'll do in both individual and group sessions, especially in our VIP community. We have so many talented people like Michel and other guys who, and we crack all the parts of the interviews together. So we simulate it in the similar way as we will do this today. So that Gaurav, for example, is playing an interviewer, Michel is playing the candidate. Gaurav, they will start with an introduction. Then Gaurav will ask Michel about his motivation for BCG, for consulting, for Paris office. Then ask personal fit questions, behavioral aspects, as well as different kinds of cases. And then at the end of the interview, Michel will be asking his questions to Gaurav as an interviewer. And all of this we will be assessing with you together and providing the feedback. And you will receive a lot of cross feedback, which will help you to become more familiar with the entire process and more confident. And thus we will help you to pass through the first, second, and final interview round until the very moment that you will get your offers at the step number 5. And then we will help you to make the right decision, build up a strong career plan, as well as help you to become a star consultant, so that you can also become grow from an intern or from junior consultant up to senior project manager in 6 years or less. So we will give you all that methodology. All right, I think I have spoken really more than enough, and I'm so tired right now. So I'm very happy to pass the word to our clients. So, Michel, maybe you could take this further and give the perspective. How do you like our program from inside?
Yes, of course. Thank you, Andre. So basically, there are three main aspects and advantages to this course. The first one is you're going to develop your communication skills to the best for the consulting job. Secondly, you will be able also to develop your problem-solving skills by tackling cases in all the different sectors. And finally, you will be able to structure not only the communication, but every aspect of any problem or any subject. And that is the essence of the consulting job. So basically, you will be joining a community of many wannabe consultants. Everybody is extremely motivated and everybody is helping each other. In addition, you will have access to very good material. I would say the material is of the top quality. And I've been doing I've done my first round McKinsey interview like a bit more than a week ago. I'm gonna tell you the cases that we do within this course, and the teaching that is provided is of higher difficulty than the actual interview itself. So you're gonna be ready to face the real stuff. That's something that I noticed that was very, very nice. So in addition to the material and the community, of course, you have the experience of Gaurav and André and their constant advice and the constant support throughout the journey. And within my own experience, I've been with them for 45 days and it was a perfect journey. Learning curve was amazing. Of course, you have to put your own dedication into it. You have to be proactive. This is definitely things that you have to do on your side. And I believe that if you're looking to do it by your own, it's true. You might get the interview, you might pass the first round, the second round, but why risk not getting the offer when you have such a perfect resources to leverage? Because consulting job, it will open you a great door into the corporate world, and it will lead you to another step after, and it's definitely worth it. And I would advise anyone to join the program. For me, every interaction, every day, every time I'm learning something new, would that be with the coaches, within the community, all the time. It's only learning curve. So that's my feedback.
Merci. Michel,
Bienvenue.
thank you very much for your kind words. I also see that Ahmed Shamsuddin has joined us in that room. So Ahmed, feel free to criticize us.
I won't be able to criticize you because you always deliver the great results, Andre. So basically, I want to tell you about the value of this program in terms of communication, in terms of communicating with Andre and Gaurav. So this is not a typical consulting website. You're gonna get the coaches and schedule meetings. So on top of all Michael said, and I totally agree with him, I'm gonna give you a simple example how I communicate with Andre and Gaurav. For example, 2 days ago, actually today, I've communicated with Gaurav. I text him over WhatsApp, and I tell him I need this couple of sessions this week. Please share with me your calendar. And he shares with me his calendar, and I book the number of sessions that I need. And I tell him what what I would like to do in those sessions in order to improve. And during those sessions, not only we crack cases, but we also discuss how we're gonna improve, where Gaurav criticized me to the most in order to deliver the best results. And in terms of Andre, for example, I had a call 2 days ago with him, Like I just take my phone and call him and ask for advice how I can tackle this part of the case, how I can improve myself in this aspect. So I just wanted to say that the coaches are not only like in terms of coaches, but also they are our friends and our mentors. So they are always next to us and they are here to help us. So that's how I think that this program is different than any other available program in the market.
All right, thank you, Ahmad. Priyam, would you like to add anything?
Yes, absolutely. But Michelle and Ahmed already covered most of the parts. But my personal experience with Andre, it's not only they are making you like they are preparing you for the interviews, but basically they are preparing you for the future stressful job as well. How you can handle it's not only preparing for the interviews and the aim is finished. It's not like that. Gaurav and Andre, they always used to tell me it's like this motivation, this aspect of your life you have to continue. And you how can you grow, how can you become like an exceptional consultant within 5 years? You want to become a partner or not? It's plan your goals, have a master plan in your head. And yeah, along the way they help us a lot. I already people mentioned about the resources, materials. The one more important aspect is the community. And it is the people like Ahmad, Michel, there's always ready for cases. So you can learn from different people, different backgrounds. So yeah, the community and the mentors themselves, both are the huge plus points, I will say here.
All right, thank you very much, Priyam, Ahmad, and Michelle. I'm happy to serve you, and sorry all other guys who didn't have a chance to speak. Let's basically move on with our webinar. And yeah, I give the word to Master Gaurav.
Okay, that sounds like Master Shifu. So yeah, cold welcome from my side. Yeah, for Andre, warm welcome is good from the place where he is. Warm is good from the place where I am sitting. Yeah, cold is good. Yeah, so it's a cold welcome. I'm joining from Mumbai in India. The weather is quite humid and hot. But yeah, and good to see you in huge numbers, and hopefully you will learn something out of the session, and hoping to see a lot of you as a part of the Consulting Masters family. I'll not spend too much time. I think you can see things on the slide and probably on my LinkedIn profile. I'll just quickly tell you my relevance for today's session. Okay. Because you might feel that, okay, he's a McKinsey consultant. What is he doing to coach for BCG? So a few things. One is apart from McKinsey, I also had a BCG offer. I had McKinsey offer from Frankfurt office, which I ended up joining. And I had other bunch of offers, including BCG offer from Sydney office, which of course I did not join. So yeah, that was one first connect for the BCG preparation. Yeah, and then on a lot of sessions I have delivered across the world to prepare students and professionals for BCG. As we stand, I think probably 100 plus people from my side have been currently working across different offices in BCG. The recent offers being a couple of students from India who just got offers from BCG, one from Mumbai office and another for the Delhi office, and so on and so forth. So I have clients in around 40 odd BCG offices. So yeah, a lot of work I have done on the BCG interviews, and I'm hoping to bring that expertise to the table. Before we get into the case, I just wanted to answer a few questions which keep on coming in these kind of interactions. So how the BCG last round is different from its first round, and also as compared to McKinsey, how is BCG interviews are different. So let me quickly address those points. First of all, the fundamental principle remains as the rounds go higher and higher. the breadth of the interview reduces and the depth increases. Yeah. So there's a lot of probing, there's a lot of pushing around, which comes naturally when you have interviewers which are much more tenured. Okay. So that's going to happen in McKinsey, BCG, both. Yeah. Peculiarly, if I talk about BCG, couple of observations that I have been making, and coming from my clients and coming from some of my friends who are sitting as partners in BCG. One is in BCG, last round, the amount of time spent on the fit part is huge. So disproportionately higher than what they do at McKinsey or in Bain, if I'm talking about the MBBs specifically. A lot of time is spent on fitment. And lesser on the case. Secondly, the cases are quite conversational. At best, I've seen people having market sizing kind of exercises with the partners, but otherwise, very unlikely that the partner will sit with a chart or exhibit and have like very, very intense conversation. I'm saying unlikely because, as we all know, last rounds or partner interactions are completely unpredictable. Okay, so don't kind of quote me saying that it will never happen. It might happen, but the chances are very, very low that this can happen. Okay. In terms of the case, yeah, the competencies apart from the structured thinking, analytical bent of mind, and also conversation, a few things that you should be more careful about to display, okay, or more, I would say, explicit about when to display, are asking right questions and being creative. So the creativity, curiosity, yeah, I think someone spoke about BCG being more people firm, and that's not wrong. In fact, as compared to McKinsey, the BCG approach is much more, one which gives possibility to a creative approach. Okay, so the creativity, showing presence, showing creativity, showing curiosity, all these things are also evaluated. And specifically in any partner interview, but especially in MBB, your reaction to pressure, your reaction to non-familiarity is also tested. Okay, but again, coming back to BCG and quickly summarizing, the last round would have a larger portion of fit. Cases will be conversational, okay, and then the creativity element, yeah, would be a tad higher than the other MBB counterparts. Yeah, so just remember that when you are preparing for it. Okay, great. So with that, why don't we get into the case?
Well, before we get into the case, it's a good tradition. I think that we need to cheer up our candidate today, Michel, because he's doing an amazing job for you. I mean, just imagine how stressful it could be to try to crack the case in front of 70 people whom you barely know. So I think that Michel has deserved an applause. So ladies and gentlemen, can I kindly ask you to turn on your cameras for a while and cheer up Michel, because he's doing that for you. So Michel, go, go, go.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
You can do it, Michel.
Well done, Michel.
All the best,
Thank
Michel.
you, guys.
Bonne chance.
Yeah.
Let's go, Michel.
Good luck, Michel.
Thank you, André.
All right. Thank you very much. And now I would kindly request all of you to turn off your cameras and microphones, except Michel and Gaurav, who would basically, do the case interview simulations. And please feel free to write your comments, write your questions into the chat so that we can address them right after the simulation. Good luck to you guys.
André,
Thank you.
skip to the simulation part, can I remind our guests that because of technical problems that happened on Google Calendar, the April dates were closed. But right now, everything is restored. Again, it's not our problem. It was not our technical problem. It was just Google platform. So please feel free to contact our client manager and serve the dates for April. I just would like to remind you about that. Thank you, and bonne chance, Michel.
Thanks, Maria.
Hi, Michel. Welcome.
Hello,
to
Gaurav.
How are you doing
very
today?
much. How are you? I'm fine, thank you. How are you? How was your day?
The day is good, man. So far, good. Let me see how
Excellent.
the day passes with you now.
Yes.
Okay, so Michel, I've heard a lot of good things about you from some of my juniors. Why don't you tell me what is so special about your profile?
Okay. Well, first, thank you for providing me an interview. It's much appreciated. I'm an experienced professional with more than 16 years of business experience in many diverse sectors. I've been also exposed to different cultures through my different missions in different countries. I've been living in Europe, in France. I also lived in Dubai, in the UAE. I worked also in Austria and Canada and USA. So I have a relative diverse exposure, but also throughout my journey, much of the work I have done is very similar to the consulting job. So I've been advising many executive teams and board level boards and on how to find solutions to their specific problems by using my problem solving skills and my leadership skills, but also my communication skills. So I believe I can bring a lot of added value to your company and to your clients.
Okay. Okay. That's interesting to know. Yeah. How is your work that you have done in industry and the work that we do in consulting? How do you see them mapping with each other? How do you think you should be able to add value from day one?
Well, there are three main aspects that I think that where I can add value. The first one is bringing my problem-solving skills in very challenging and complex situations. The second one would be bringing my leadership ability in leading teams in diverse and global environments. And thirdly, just as consulting, I have been exposed to very similar projects. So if I go back to the problem-solving skills, for example.
Let's go to the second point, diverse and global. So a lot of French projects are actually not very diverse and neither they are global. We are talking about solving a very, very French problem. How is it going to help us with your experience?
Well, I'm going to give you, for example, an experience that I had in problem solving where I proved some leadership skills. During my previous role as a general manager of Desert Grove, I have been faced with a very challenging situation where I had to be very creative and think out of the box. It was in the UAE. It was in the UAE, in Dubai, while I was the general manager of Desert Grove. Basically, Desert Grove is...
any problem that you have solved in France?
In France, to tell you the truth, I haven't lived in France during my adulthood. So I've grew up in France until I was 18 years old. So I can maybe talk about problem solving on the football fields or in the school, things like that. But to be really relating to the problem, I can give you maybe some analogical experience that I had in Canada, in Quebec. Quebec is a French educated country. So, for example, so during my experience there, before my MBA as an engineer, so we were faced with the organizational problem with the communication within the different divisions to create a specific product. Basically, I was a software engineer for CAE. CAE is a company that does simulators for nuclear power plants. And basically, the mission is to create a simulator for the people to be trained on before they actually operate a nuclear power plant.
Okay.
So to create the simulator, for example, it needs a lot of different teams, teams that are specialized in the heating and cooling systems, another team that is specialized in the hydraulic systems, etc. So there was a lot of redundant information and inefficiencies in getting the job done, and the integration of these different modules together. So I have been able to propose an initiative that was later adopted, in which the database of each division would be shared to a certain extent. So there would be a shared common database that would reduce the number of errors and to have a better flow of information between the different divisions. So that was one of the problems I've been able to solve.
What's the impact?
The impact is basically that there was less risk of errors. There were more efficient and productive results. So instead of doing a job...
Do you have any quantification?
I'm sorry?
Do you have any quantification of the result?
I don't have myself quantification, because at the time it was my last year at the company, and I went to do my MBA. So I know that they have adopted the initiative.
Okay.
But the actual impact after that, I don't have real numbers.
Okay. Tell me one thing. So a lot of times the projects that we do, they are in a completely new topic. Yeah. So problems that people or companies have not solved. Can you tell me an instance where you did something which you had no clue about?
Of course. Thank you for this question. So basically, I would like to share with you an instance when, while I was working in Austria, Vienna, as a vice president for private equity boutique company, I was informed about a new investment opportunity in the UAE, in Dubai. And at the time, I was eager to do my own company. And basically, that was to go into the new country, in a new market, to work in a new segment, which is a construction of swimming pools, and to go into new culture. So basically, what I have done, I have planned and designed the market entry strategy that I needed to create in order to decide whether I should go into that country. And along that, also, I created my financial analysis on whether this would be a profitable venture. And thirdly, after analyzing, I've been able to put a strategy on how to implement this initiative. And the result was that after 3 years, I had a company that was established with 27 employees and 3 million euros of revenue in year 3. So it was a successful story.
That you had no clue when you started.
This is something that I had no clue at all. So I had no clue in the country itself in terms of construction sector. I had no clue in the specific construction segment of the swimming pool industry. And it was the first time I'm establishing my own company. So all the factors were very, how you say, unknown for me. The unknown variables were on all the parameters. So in order to have a clear plan, I have created list with all the items that needs to be covered with high prioritization. And I went through them in a methodic and systemized way. And that enabled me to have a complete clear program and how to implement the initiative.
Okay. Okay. Is there any instance that you want to share with us where you feel that you have taken really, really uncommon approach?
Yes, there's an instance I would like to share with you, which was during my same previous role as a general manager, and most precisely during the COVID-19 crisis. It's where I've been able to keep the company alive, and I've been able to pay all my employees and my suppliers while avoiding any legal suit by any client by satisfying all their requirements. So during that experience, if we go back to February 2020, when the crisis hit, as you know, many businesses have been affected, and among them ours, because we do swimming pools, and as you know, swimming pools are luxury items. And basically all new orders have been canceled. And after 3 months, my working capital went almost to void, to nil. And at the same time, the borders between the different emirates in the UAE, they've been closed. And half of my projects under construction were in the other emirates other than the one where we were present. So we were present in the Dubai Emirate, where I had 7 projects, but also I had 8 projects in the other emirates, which were defined as unreachable. And the last also challenge that came into is that all the ministries have been shut down, and specifically the Ministry of Labor. And I brought 12 new staff on a visit visa, and I had to process them to have a permanent visa, and that wasn't possible anymore. So what I have done to solve this issue, first, I stayed calm. And secondly, I have created a highly prioritized list of the actions I need to do. And I have decided to segment my clients or projects in 2 main groups. The first group was the non-reachable projects, which were in the other emirates. And the other group, of course, are the reachable projects, which are within our incumbent emirate. And basically, the priority was to divest as fast as possible from the non-reachable projects, but while at the same time keeping our clients satisfied and having them get the project finished in some way. So what I have devised for the non-reachable projects is that first, I have to be very clear in communicating what is happening with us and what we can do or cannot do. Second thing, to communicate to the client that our main concern is their project. And third thing, what we have done, we have provided them with all our purchase orders that we get from our suppliers, and we provided them so they can buy directly all the materials and equipments
Michel,
at cost with our discounts.
So why do you think it's an uncommon approach?
Because this is a situation that is completely new. And I had to define a solution that is very specific to that situation, which divide the non-reachable and reachable projects, and to find for each type of group of projects a specific type of solution during a period of lengthened stress and pressure. So it's not a daily pressure of 1 week or 2 weeks. It's a pressure of from February to November. It's a non-stop. So you're under stress all the time, externally by the clients and the suppliers, but also internally by the employees. So it's a very challenging situation and unique, and also to the nature of this company, how it was segmented. That was why.
Okay. And so if you have to do it again, what would you do differently?
What I would do differently, I would implement the plan earlier. So February came the crisis. They've done lockdown on everyone except a couple of sectors, including the construction sector. So we were able to work in our Emirates, but I acted only as of May, because it was the first time, because I underestimated the crisis itself. I think other parties that are more experienced, that have been through previous crises like the one of 2014 or 2008, they have reacted much faster. They have reacted exactly on the same day, on February. So I would say that what I would have done better is reduce my staff from day one, so to have a healthy working capital. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And let's say if you are a BCG consultant who is coaching a client or consulting a client, in this situation, how would you handle it differently?
Well, first, I would analyze the.
Let's do this, Michel. Let's convert this
Yes.
into a case. Okay. So
Okay.
in other form, Michel has come to you. You are a BCG consultant. Michel has come to you and he has told you this problem that I have 15 projects, 7 in Dubai, 8 in other provinces, and these 3 problems have cropped up. Yeah, the borders are closed, and working capital is not there. All that stuff. Yeah, how would you structure this problem, or how would you approach this problem?
All right, thank you. May I take a moment to structure my thoughts? Thank you. All right, thank you, Gaurav. So basically, to answer our client, which would have this type of problem, I would like to answer 3 main questions. The first question is, what are the current clients that are customers that our client is serving? The second one, I would like to ask, what is the financial health of the company? And thirdly, I would look at what are the capacity of our client in reacting to such a crisis. Under the first question, to understand what are the different customers or clients of our client is having, I would size the total portfolio of clients that they have, and I would segment them. And then I would look at if there is any, how would I say, there wouldn't be any benefit of continuing with such a client or not. And thirdly, I would add to that, but the situation of the crisis to that specific, that because I know that there would, in my situation, which is basically in the UAE, maybe another market would be different, is to look at if there would be new clients that would come in. So if they would be within the sizing, apart from the current ones, can we create new ones of the size of the new ones and look if we can grow them. Then I would move to the financial health of the company, look at where is the company in terms of financial KPIs, look at its receivables. These receivables, have they been affected? Days payable, to better assess the working capital, how would you say, working capital trend, and how has it been affected by the crisis. And then I would look at the cost structure also, and look at what can be minimized and saved money on the cost structure in terms of fixed cost, basically. And here again, because I've been there in the UAE, I know that the projection of revenue was not possible. But if we're in a different market, I would then look at, in addition to the cost, I would look at the revenue. And then finally, would move on to the capability of the company in reacting to that crisis in terms of operational expertise, in terms of financial capability to act. And that would be my approach. Then if you would like, we can go in one of the different aspects of this plan and look more deeply into one of them.
Yeah. Would you start off by asking the client what's the ideal outcome? That for different businessmen, the outcome can be different, right?
Of course, definitely. So there are many factors that you have to look at in this type of crisis. So here, the external factors, can you look at what are the end result that our client wants to from the crisis? Does he want to exit because he feels
what is the outcome that you have assumed in this structure?
The outcome here, I have assumed that the company will lower its cost to the minimum, and keep presence in the market, and start looking for alternative products within the same structure that have a lower fixed cost.
Okay.
Have a lower fixed cost and that have a better cash flow cycle. That's what I would look at.
Interesting. What if I tell you that the client has a different outcome? If the client says that my outcome is to maximize the potential profitability, and even if that means we exit this market, that's fine. Yeah, but I don't want to take any financial red flags, or I might want to minimize the exposure. Yeah. Then how would you approach it? How would the structure be different?
Well, here, if we are looking at the profitability, well, basically what I would do, I would break down profitability in revenues and costs. And for the revenues, I would look at the segments in terms of product category, and also in terms of distribution channel of where those products have to be present, and in terms of geography. So we might get out of this geography and go to another one. And then I would pass to the cost side of the profitability and look at the fixed cost and the variable cost, and look at the fixed costs that are required to support an operation to its minimum if we are to stay in the same market. But if we are going to another market, what would it involve? And in terms of variable cost, depending on the different product categories, which type of variable cost will be involved in them, and do an analysis. So on those both fronts, on the front of the revenue, by segmenting the different products within that sector, and the variable costs also, and to define which ones are the most advantageous to maximize our profitability.
Okay, so what is the difference between the two approaches? What are the risks that you see in both the cases? One is optimizing the operations for staying in the market versus optimizing the operation for profitability.
Okay. Well, here I have a question for you. When you say the second case of optimizing the profitability, it's within the same market, or we're talking of a different market?
Within the same market.
But the same market.
I don't care if it means me having to exit projects for exit markets. In second scenario, in the first scenario, I'm saying, no, I want to maintain the relationship. I want to be in the market. Yeah. Probably the kind of structure that we assume. Yeah?
All right. So the main case here that ties both together, I would say, is the long-term objective of the client. What is he looking on the long term? Is he looking to build on something that he salvaged and divest from the non-strategic projects or clients? So that's where the decision should be made. If that is the case, and in particular, I can do the analogy to the swimming pool business. Swimming pool business, there is the private segment, which is mainly swimming pools for private owners of villas, and you have the commercial projects, which are for the hotels and the colleges and these big projects. So you can say that within the private segment, there are some projects that are strategic, and those are defined by the uniqueness of their design and the complexities that the company can by itself achieve only through its strength compared to its competitors. So those are strategic. But projects that are similar to projects of other competitors, those are not very strategic. So those are the ones that they can divest from. So you don't really need a referral to build on the company on the long term. But if you go to the commercial segment side, here most of the projects, because it's big projects, they are mostly all strategic. So these ones must have a priority, and you need to finish these projects in order to get a good reputation and a good referral with those clients. So on the long term, when the crisis is over, you can build on these stories, success stories.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Is there any crazy thing that you had to do in this operation as you're trying to really kind of put up a fight against this crisis? Is there anything that you felt that you otherwise wouldn't have done, but just crisis forced you to do that?
Right, of course. For example, one of our commercial segment project, which is a very highly strategic project, which was our biggest project, was about to outsource people, staff recommended by the main contractor, people we don't know and we haven't worked before. Okay. So it was exposing our project to a very high risk of failure. But what we have done, we have implemented the good controls and measuring KPIs on site by putting our own project manager to follow up on a daily basis to lower the risk. But of course, through that, there was a lot of you say, it's not disputes, but it's friction points where things were, because it was the first time. And in particular to our company, we were using a technology for construction, which is very particular to our company only. So we had to teach these people, and there were a lot of resistance, we can say, but we successfully managed the period. And I think during that period, all the parties, since they were under the crisis, everybody was kind of tolerant and helping each other, even though there were some friction points, but everybody was tolerant. So it was because the crisis was applying to everyone. Yeah.
Okay. So at this point of time, let's say your client, Michel, comes into your room and wants your final recommendation in terms of what he should be doing with his business. Yeah. What would be your recommendation to Michel?
Okay. May I take just a moment to structure my recommendation?
Sure.
Thank you so much. All right, Gaurav, thank you for your time. So basically, in order to advise our client faced with the same kind of situation, I would recommend him to act the soonest in the objective of staying in the market on the long term for three main reasons. The first is because the size of the market is kind of substantial and the crisis will end. So a return to the market will be possible, specifically, especially when other competitors will exit. So the share of the cake for the company will be bigger for the survivors. Secondly, because there are alternative product categories that are profitable, that can our clients leverage through the crisis. And thirdly, because of the strength of our clients in terms of the technology he's using and his differentiation, it's already an advantage. So he can leverage this on the long-term basis. What I would advise him for the next steps to do is to do an internal analysis of his financial criteria and his organization's criteria, and put a plan on how to minimize its fixed costs to the maximum. Secondly, I would advise him to analyze what are the different other product categories that are maximizing the profitability during that crisis. And thirdly, I would advise him to keep his mindset positive as much as he can, and to be resilient and to push on through this crisis, even though it's very hard. It's a lot of character and needs a lot of strong character. So that would be my recommendation.
Would you be able to help him on the planning part? that you recommended?
Oh, of course, absolutely, absolutely. For the experience I have and the knowledge I have, I think even though it's a different market, the lessons learned, I would not say they are universal, but they can be leveraged. So definitely, I would be available to assist, to help him.
Interesting.
Yes.
So I'm a little bit scared now, Michel. Yeah. So what's the guarantee that once the market comes up, you will not again quit BCG and restart your company? You seem to have things figured out.
All right. So that this is a very good question, and this I have an answer in 3 points for that. And in regards to that, the first point is that I am at an age where I need to have some financial security. So I'm looking for a corporate job. The second reason is that the career track within the consulting for me is gonna provide me a higher rewarding career on the long term, because I can see myself in 5 years at a certain stage where I'm being impacting very important clients on very high impact projects, and this is something that I was missing as an entrepreneur. And the third reason is that I'm a problem solver, and I cannot live without intellectual challenge. And I felt that the intellectual challenge for the entrepreneurship was okay, but it wasn't to the level that the consulting world would provide me. So for these different reasons, I believe that not only consulting will bring something to my future career, but I can definitely bring much added value to the consulting world and the clients of the consulting world. Yeah.
Very good. Okay, good. So do you have any questions for me?
Yes, thank you, Gaurav. I wanted to ask you, I've been affected by the crisis, of course, but I've heard, and maybe you can confirm, that the consulting world has not been negatively affected. On the contrary, they've been getting more work, and the consulting during COVID-19 is doing good.
So yeah, the observations are not incorrect completely what you're talking about. It's not that we are not affected, but the nature of work has for sure shifted. And so basically, you will see much lesser number of strategy or marketing and sales engagements these days. Yes, but operational excellence, the turnaround, the transformation, those are the kind of projects that have increased. By default, these are the projects which are longer and higher commitment projects. So yes, I think the business, we hope that business will rebound.
Very nice, very nice. And if you allow me, I would have another question.
Sure, please.
Yes. From your own experience, what was your best project you're most proud of?
Interesting. So I've done quite a number of projects across around 20 plus countries. But yeah, I think one that I really would never forget is working with the Prime Minister of Netherlands.
Very nice.
To really attract investment in Netherlands from some of the countries like China, India,
nice.
South Korea. So we really went really deep in terms of the demand supply side. In terms of the supply, we explored all the 4 countries in Asia. On the demand side, we explored what can be done in Netherlands to attract some of those businesses, investments, etc. And a good work that was also almost 100% implemented. And yeah, really satisfying to see so many companies after those initiatives from Asia came and settled in Netherlands. So very fulfilling work when all your recommendations get implemented. Yeah, and that too at a country level where not few people but the entire country gets affected positively.
Yeah, definitely. When you see the implementation happening, this is the most rewarding.
Absolutely.
Yes, definitely. All right, Gaurav, that would be my questions for you.
Thanks, Michel. So it was nice meeting you. I think it
was the same also. It was very enjoyable interview. Thank you.
In touch with you. Okay.
Thank you so much. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay. So
all right.
I think the floor is open.
Cool. So now,
sorry,
ladies
everyone,
and gentlemen.
I had the lighting, the sun went down.
All right. So now, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to first of all ask you to turn on your cameras one more time and congratulate Michel on successful accomplishment of the interview. So could you please turn on your cameras and microphones and cheer him up? So Michel, thank you very much. This was a very beautiful.
Thank you, guys. Welcome.
Keep it up.
Looking for all of you to excel in your career, guys, and your interviews.
Hopefully, thanks.
All right, cool. So now it's the best time actually to ask your questions and to provide the feedback. But before we move to that, Michel, can you maybe reflect how did you perform and walk all other guys through the way of your thinking throughout the entire interview so that they can really learn from you?
Yes, okay. Thank you, Andre. I think the first thing when you enter an interview, the most important thing is really to approach the interview with a good mindset. That's the most important thing, is to come in, to be relaxed. That's what I learned.
Yes, you can change the slide. No. I'm just telling the moderator to change the slide.
Okay. So basically, you have to enter the interview with the mindset that you're coming in and you're gonna meet a future colleague, someone you're gonna spend time more than with your own family, because work is taking much of your time. So you really gonna have to spend time with these people, and you need to join this company because you're gonna be enjoying it. So you need to build a rapport with that person. So this is the most important thing, except on the technical issues. So you have to come in positively, enthusiastic, and not to fear the interviewer. You need to come in to be comfortable and to build a rapport with that person, and for that person to enjoy it also. You need that person to enjoy the interview as much as you're enjoying it, because that person is already under stress, maybe is working on a very difficult project, is having a tough time, or maybe not. But at the end, the objective is to enjoy your time with that person through the interview. The interview is the tool to assess your skills, but are you going to be spending time with that person and enjoying your work with that person on a daily basis, monthly basis, and yearly basis? That's the basic objective of the whole thing. Are you going into that career to enjoy your time? So that's the first thing, having the right mindset. So the second thing is when I take a feedback on what we did just now. So I try to be as much conversational with Gaurav as much as I can. And to be able to do that, you have to be very relaxed, because if you're not relaxed, the other person is not going to be relaxed, and there are going to be frictions, and the conversation is not going to be flowing very fluidly. It has to flow very fluidly. the hour has to pass very fast for you and for that person. Then I try to structure my answers as much as I can. I know at some points there are some answers I did not structure them, but throughout the interview, there's two main things that I look at, because when you get technical skills, when you get your technical skills of how to solve a case or how to provide the answer or the content of your answer to the different questions, the main two things that you have to look at is communicate effectively and structure your communication. Those are the main two, and these have to be inside your brain in the middle with the tools which are the content of your answers and how to solve the cases. So this is how you have to be. So I try to be as structured as I can. I know at some points, maybe at the beginning or at some question, I wasn't structuring because I tried to, but I wasn't able as much as I wanted to. And when the interviewer is asking you a strategic decision, so you have to structure, take the time, ask for a time, and the interviewer will always give you the time to structure, because they're assessing your mental capability, and mental capability, taking your time is very crucial. So always take a moment, ask for the moment. And the other skills that are taught through the coaching of Gaurav and Andre, I'm not gonna go into the details. There are a lot of skills. It's a panoply. You can say there's a portfolio of skills. So there's many, and this is really only through the practice and the coaching of the guys that can be done. But as I said, all those tools, they have to be around two main: communicate effectively and structure everything. This is the way of consulting thinking. So that was the way I approached this interview, with a good mindset first. Second, with having in the center of my brain, communicate effectively and structure everything I say. And third, use the skills that I've learned and enjoy it, really just enjoy it. So that's the 3 points, main points. Yeah. Yes.
Andre, I think you are
This
on.
is really very cool. Ladies and gentlemen, so feel free also to ask your questions to Michel now, and also to Gaurav and myself, so that we can answer most of them. And yeah, I will basically turn back to the questions which haven't been covered so far. So the next question is from Yoda-san Kusani. Hi, Andre. As I'm actually living in Africa, I'm interested for an internship position in Africa offices of these firms. I'm graduated in economics and business administration. Yeah, Yot, I would basically simply recommend you to contact our client managers, Alina and Alessa, through the links shared before in the chat, so that we can have a conversation and take your case individually, have a look at your background, at your current situation, and see how we can place you for an internship position in one of the African offices of the firms. All right, then the next question is, what do you mean by intense preparation in terms of hours per week? How many weeks? So, Michel, can you maybe simply share your experience of working with us and the workload related to that?
Of course. All right. So I met André through networking before I got any interview, but I didn't decide to go through the coaching at that time. But when I got my first interview with McKinsey, my request to do the interview, I immediately contacted André. So I was faced with a limited time, which was around 45 days to prepare. So the way I have done it is, okay, I'm in my specific situation. I am not working. I don't have other commitments. So I have a free time, 24/7. So basically what I have done, I have planned my schedule throughout the 45 days. on different dimensions. The first dimensions is doing 2 cases per day with people from the community. The second thing is to learn the material, the content. Third is to do drills on my own, because you can do cases with the people in the community or the coaches, but also you can do drills on your own. So I do market sizing drills by myself. I did structuring drills by myself. So this is the third one. The fourth one is to schedule mock interviews with the coaches. So they would provide you full mock interviews. So the fit into, like we did just now. So I would use the webinar, for example. For me, the webinar now is a training learning. So it's one of the best ones. And there are independent coaching sessions I do with André and with Gaurav, in addition to the mock interviews within the community. So within the community, you do either, you decide with your counterpart if it's going to be a case only or fit only. So this is things that you decide with the counterpart. And also you give a case and you learn to provide the case to that counterpart. And when you do that, you learn how the interviewer is thinking. You're taking his side of the table. So it's very important. So what I have done for the 45 days, I've put the 5 dimensions. And I said, every day I'm going to do 2 cases, this type of learning, this just for 45 days. So I was spending myself at the beginning around maybe 10 hours per day. I was very, very intense for the first 10 days. The second 10 days, the second segment of 20 days, it was 8 hours per day. And the last period, which was 1 week before the interview, I've covered all the content. I've covered everything. But as Andre and Gaurav and everybody knows, I was kind of very stressed because I was in the buzz, and I learned during the last week on how to manage what I just mentioned, manage the mindset, manage the stress, and have the approach taken into a gaming approach. So I'm going to the interview, there's going to be a game, and I'm going to win the game. And to tell the truth to everyone, I'm going to tell André and Gaurav also, because when I did the first round interviews, like almost more than a week ago, I took a 5 days or 4 days break, which was the first time I take a 5 days break in a month and a half. And I was missing doing the cases. So I'm enjoying it. I found this is confirming to me that I like to do the problem solving. So I like to work in consulting because I felt those 4 or 5 days I wasn't happy. And when I started to do cases like 3 days ago with the guys within the community and getting back to the content, I felt my mood came back to the positive. So for me, for my case, I'm enjoying it a lot. And the day I decided that I'm gonna approach it with the right mindset, I'm definitely enjoying it more. So that was my experience during those 45 days.
All right, cool. Thank you very much, Michel, for sharing. This was very valuable. However, I think that some of the candidates don't actually have that much time to spend like full time on the case preparation. Therefore, Pritam, one of our clients, who is also currently doing an internship, Pritam, can I maybe ask you to share your views? How much time have you spent in terms of preparations?
Yes, absolutely. I can add some points here. It is really exhaustive. At the same time, it is really interesting, basically, for me to do that. I plan my week. I can say that almost 5 days. I plan it prior, and how my work schedule looks like, I plan according to that, and I plan to always have at least 2 cases a day with the peers, maybe with the mentors, and also do some mock fit interview questions drills on my own. So basically, I write all the questions and answers on the Excel, and I actually, it might sound very ridiculous to you, but I do it in front of the mirror basically, and prepare the fit interview questions on my own. So I always keep 30 minutes to 45 minutes every day on the fit part, and do 2 cases a day. When I have time on the weekends, I plan to do at least 3 to 4 cases a day with the peers. I try to do maximum cases with the mentors first of all. If I don't get the chance, then I work with the peers. And along the way, I start with the beginner level of difficulty, but then improvising on the fact, I keep my case log. I write the feedback and comments on my cases, how I have done it, what things to improve. So basically, whenever I do the next case, I start 20 or 30 minutes earlier to read my case log, what things to be improved. Then I do the case, and then after the case, I write again in my case log and how to and add new feedbacks there. And also, I maintain all my frameworks, and always, I mean, once in a week, I go through the frameworks and try to improvise on them. Yes, so I already read some comments about how addictive it gets. It is really addictive, but yes, you need to manage all your time schedules as well.
All right, cool. Pritam, thank you very much for sharing your perspective. I also see that there was a conversation between Ahlam and Mylin Nguyen in the chat, so very good. Thank you very much for answering the questions, Ahlim and Nguyen. And then I also see that I think one colleague also wanted to put the question. Yeah, so there is Summer El Hajj, and yeah, you wanted to speak up your question. So you have an opportunity. Please turn on your camera, briefly introduce yourself, and ask your question.
Hello, can you hear me?
Summer, can you please turn on your camera and introduce yourself?
I can't open the camera. I have some connection problem. Can you hear me?
Yeah, so let's try it.
Okay, so thank you for having us, and thank you for this interesting case simulation. So basically, I want to ask one question and have one advice. When asking to take a moment to structure our thoughts, what is the ideal time for you? 1 minute, one and a half, or less than that?
Okay, so I'll take that up. So that changes as you progress in the case. So typically for the structure, when you take time, couple of minutes is a good idea. But as you go deeper in the case, the assumption is that you have a better hang of the case, and hence the time that is required to take a pause and think should be coming lower and lower. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, around 30-40 seconds up to the minute max is a good idea. But there are no thumb rules over here, guys. But just it's like natural human communication science. Yeah. As we go deeper in the conversation, yeah, of course we should take lesser time to kind of set aside and structure. Yeah. So we should clearly see the trend that you are getting a grip over the case. Does that answer your question?
Yes. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for your question, Summer. Let's basically move on to Siddharth Malviya. So Siddharth, you raised the hand. Could you please turn on your camera and ask your question?
Hello, am I audible?
Yes.
Hi,
Yes.
everyone. Actually, I just had a query. I'm not sure whether it is like a kind of silly query, but I would still like to go ahead with it. If you could please answer that one. Actually, like I have faced some of the interviews. I'm presently doing my MBA. So post my MBA, I'm preparing for some of the interviews in these companies. And I have been told by many of my colleagues that I generally tend to be very casual during interview, because like some of my professors, they have told you need to be very professional during the interview, and some of them have told you need to be a bit on the casual side, so that it gives a feeling that you are not under some kind of pressure or something. So I am actually not able to strike the balance between the two, whether I should be very professional or should I be very kind of in a relaxed position. Because if you could guide me on that, that is number one. And number two is like, sorry, I missed the second one. Could you like answer the first one?
Yeah. So that means you are too relaxed, probably. Yeah, you forgot the second one.
No,
Just kidding. So see, I think professional and relaxed, yeah, they need not be mutually exclusive. Yeah. So I think I'm looking and I'm being professional, but I'm relaxed. And same is the case with, I think, Michel. Yeah, the way he was, his gestures, etc., clearly suggested that he was relaxed, though he was professional. Okay. So casual is a totally different affair. Yeah. So if I see that the candidate is casual, then it's a put off. Yeah. I mean, for example, what are the signs? So I narrated the case and you missed out on something, and you're asking me again. Okay. Or there is an instruction that has been given, but you are ignoring it. Yeah. You are being too overconfident or pompous. All these kind of things give me a signal that you're casual. Okay. So that of course needs to be avoided. Okay. But being relaxed is a good thing, in fact. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
All
Thanks.
right. Thank you, Siddharth. Then the next question actually goes from Vehuvio Teluo. And the question is, how do we approach a case when standard frameworks don't apply? How would you structure it?
Yeah. So that's a very good question. And that's the reason you need practice. Okay. So structuring is a core concept and core competency. And to start with, you can always have a just remember and recall model. So you remember 10 structures and you recall it. But as you pointed out over here, those are the things that will not work if you have a case which is non-standard. Okay, so in order for you to kind of cater to these non-standard, or why, I don't know why we should call it non-standard, because that is the typical consultant's life. Yeah, you never get a standard questions. Yeah, so you have to build that muscle. Yeah, to be able to split the problem into its pieces which are relevant and messy. And that's the game, basically. That is what you need to learn. And that is what we are here to help you, or any coach for that matter is here to help you. That's what you need to build on. Okay.
All right. Thank you, Gaurav. Then the next question goes actually from, Oliver El Houri. So Oliver asks a question to Michel. How were you improving your communication skills to be above satisfactory level, and specifically for consulting?
All right, thank you, Oliver. So communication skills, different factors on it. There's a couple of factors: structuring. Second one is the content. And third one is being relaxed. So these three, I would say these three factors would be essential in communicating effectively. So it has to be result oriented. So you have done something that resulted in something, and how did you do it? So that's a structure. So you learn those different types of structuring through the coaching, and the content comes from your side. It's how to be effective in communication. Being effective in communication means passing the message such that the other party gets it, not passing the message in you feeling that he got the message. So it's two different two different views. You can be talking about something and you think that you convinced that person, but maybe that person didn't understand anything. So it's how to pass the message effectively in the most crisp manner. So with the less words and the more effective use of words in a structured way. And this is what you learn through the course. This is what the guys teaches you. So, and it's practice. And it does not only apply to consulting, it will apply to every facet of your life. Like you will see yourself talking with your friends differently. So you will start explaining something to a friend who's asked you a question, you will explain it in a consulting manner. So that would be because communicating effectively, it's an added value in your daily life, in your work, in everything. And basically consulting, you are the product, you are the person, and one of the values of the product is the communication, how you communicate. So for example, if you're gonna advise a CEO or a chairman or something, he's gonna see you for 2-3 minutes. You really have to pass a message that is very effective and very impactful. He doesn't have time more than that. So you learn the skills through the coaching, I would say.
Yeah, and I think I'll just add one point over here. See, the communication starts in the mind. Okay, what you talk about is an outcome. If you just realize the way Michel is currently answering all the questions, he is basically taking a micro pause in his own brain, in his own mind, to first structure it. And then he's telling, okay, this is the way I'm doing it. 3 things, 1, 2, 3. Now these 3 things means in his mind, first he's thinking about what am I going to talk about? What should be the order? Okay, what should be the structure? Okay, and what should be the headline with which I should be starting this communication? Now, all these things are happening automatically in his mind before he utters the first word. And this is all practice. I still remember having the first fit session with Michel and kind of listening to his stories. And Michel, you can see the change that has happened. So and then of course then you have a lot of fine tuning, right? So how do you make it more crisper? The use of words, all these things these are garnish. You can of course keep on doing that, and only even life is less to get it better. You always learn. But the way to structure the communication top down, is something that is a competency. That is something that you need to build, and you have to build it, right? As Michel rightly pointed out, in consulting there is no other asset but you. There are, in consulting we don't have machines, no cranes, no AI, no ML, right? It is just a one person. 100% asset of a consulting company is consultant. And the communication has to be succinct, has to be understandable, has to be effective, influential, whatever adjective you can use, they're all applicable. That's so it's a core concept.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we still have maybe 3 to 5 minutes to answer your questions, but unfortunately, we will not be able to answer all of them. So the next question was actually asked from Michel Deocata, where he asks, where can I get a material for studying case studies? The quick answer is, Michel, after you contact our team and have a call with Alina or Alyssa, which you can book, you will also receive the materials. And Maria will also tell you about the goodies from this webinar, which will also help you to start preparing for the case studies. So we will be sharing some of the materials with you. So please be patient on that regard. You will receive that. And also feel free to book a call in order to receive further materials and further guidance for your specific case. All right, then I also see Summer El Hajj. You have another question.
I was able to open the camera, So I need your advice on something. Currently, I'm enrolled in the MBA program at ESA, Beirut. I finished my courses at the end of this year, but I still have the ICP, which is the International Consulting Project. It's about 8 to 12 months. So basically, my graduation will be at maybe in June 2022. But my plan is to start applying for consulting companies starting 2022. So when I finish my courses, I need your advice. Am I able to apply for the consulting even if I didn't finish my ICP?
The quick answer is yes. And my story proves it because I received an offer for my first consulting full-time position 11 months before graduation. So the company has been waiting for me for almost a year to start. I hope that this clarifies all your doubts.
So they will wait you. So they will wait till you finish the ICP, or you can start with your
My
ICP.
company has been waiting for me for 11 months. So I passed the interviews, I got the contract, and next year I started in consulting.
Okay,
so
that's great. Thank you so much.
And I would recommend you to secure your job offer as early as possible. Don't wait until 2022 because you don't know what happens in 2022. The best example was with 2020, and those guys who have secured their offers before the COVID were the most lucky ones, because even their offers have been deferred, they still started in consulting and they didn't need to compete with all other guys. So therefore, don't wait for the third, for the fourth wave of COVID or whatever may happen in 2022. Start dealing with it as early as possible. This is my best advice.
Yes, I'm taking the time to prepare. That's it. I want to start at the end of this year.
Yeah. All right, cool. Thank you. Then maybe just the very last one question before we move to the to our bonus materials is from Samia Hoimura. And Samia has a problem that she sometimes needs more time and doesn't know how to ask the clarifying questions because she is afraid of missing the information. And therefore her question is, so what my question is, how you become faster at figuring out what clarifying questions do you need beyond the basic questions like goal of the client, timeline, business model, etc.
Okay, so so this is, I mean, any part of the case, there is a science and art. Yeah, you first grasp the science and then work on the art. So the basic science, of course, we will teach you as we start coaching you in terms of what are the buckets that you should not be missing out on. Okay, but yeah, as you mature into case cracking, you will realize that you need to go above and beyond that sometimes. Yeah, to depending on the case, depending on and the round, depending on the way that the case is getting narrated. So it's important for you to understand the basic of what is clarification phase in the interview. Yeah. So see, basically this is a phase that happens in real life consulting when you have a conversation with the client and the client has asked you for a proposal. Yeah. So in between that conversation and proposal, you ask a few questions so that your proposal will be most relevant. Yeah. At the same time, knowing that we are still not friendly with the client. Yeah. It's the rapport hasn't been built. Okay. So it's a tightrope walk to understand what is it that should be asked, but what is it that should not be asked. Okay. And that tightrope you need to walk on. Yeah. And that comes with, as I said, some structured preparation, but then a lot of practice as well.
All right, thank you very much, Gaurav, and thank you very much, all the guys, for your questions. Yeah, as I mentioned, I'm sorry I would not be able to give the word to all of you and answer all of your questions because we also have some of the time limits. But in order to help all of you to receive the goodies and bonus materials, I would like to give the word back to our moderator, Maria. So, Maria, please feel free to take this forward.
Thank you very much, André. So it's time to our next text. First of all, I would ask you to go into the chat box and fill the feedback survey, because we can't stop and we won't stop improving our webinars, and your opinion is highly appreciated. So I will give you just some time to go into the chat box and fill the survey so we can improve and take the next steps for better and more comprehensive information for you. I also want to remind you, so you stayed tuned so long, and thank you very much for that. So you will get, and each and every one of you will get some bonus materials, which is the presentation itself with the detailed case, so you can practice case solving on your own. And also don't forget that you can book consultation with our client managers. So feel free to book it. You have all the dates and special link to get into the calendar and make the job done. Also, I would like to tell you about our next webinars. They will be dedicated to big three giants, Bain, BCG. So stay tuned to get everything you can to go forward in your career and get involved into consulting as soon as possible. Also, don't forget, you have to subscribe to our social media platforms. We will be happy to provide you with the latest news, with all the information you need, with different statistics and acute situations all around the world, all around the globe. So feel free to subscribe, like, comment, and repeat. And also, I would like to give the final word to André and say that if it's not consulting, then what's the point?
All right, thank you very much, Maria. Yeah, on behalf of the entire team of Consulting Masters, so first of all, we are very thankful for you for coming and joining our webinar and spending these 2 hours with us. I hope that this has been extremely valuable experience for you and you have really learned a lot. So please do not hesitate to make the first step and contact our team and let us help you to get yourself into the best consulting office in all major firms around the world, whether it's McKinsey London or Oliver Wyman Dubai or Bain & Company in Mumbai office or whatever geography, Singapore, US, UK, whatsoever. We are happy, and we are, on behalf of the whole team, on behalf of myself, Gaurav, and the entire team and our clients, we're happy to serve you. Thank you very much for attending, and we are looking towards helping you to get into consulting. Have a great day and stay safe. Take care.